How much money do I need to buy a house? That's what I'll answer in today's video. What's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon with Remax from the Barber Group. In today's video, I'll answer how much money it takes to buy a house. Before we dive into this video makes two very important assumptions. First, this house is going to be your primary, meaning you're gonna live in this house. This can't be a second house. And second, this video doesn't take into account any special situations because we all know that does exist. Now, let's get back to how much money you need to buy a house. Most buyers will fall into one of three categories, and they are veteran loan, FHA loans, or a conventional loan. Knowing this, there are 5 upfront costs it takes to buy a house, and they are down payment, closing costs, deposit, appraisal, and inspection. Let's start with the largest upfront cost for many families, and that's your down payment. On the screen, you'll find that each loan type has a different down payment. Let's start with the veteran loan. The veteran loan really excels in this arena. Unlike the other two loan products, the veteran loan requires a 0% down payment, meaning no down payments required. For example, if you buy a house for $100,000 with a 0% down payment, nothing is due up front. This takes us to our next loan product, the FHA loan. This loan is fantastic because it gives a lot of families who probably wouldn't have the opportunity to buy a house normally to buy a house. It's very easy to qualify, well, easier to qualify for this kind of loan product. This loan requires a 3.5% down up front, meaning if you buy a house for $100,000 and you have a 3.5% down payment, your down payment is $3,500. Lastly, let's head over to the conventional loan. The conventional loan, unlike the FHA product, is a little harder to qualify and comes with some benefits. The conventional loan, the down payment ranges between 3 and 5%. So if you buy a house for $100,000, your down payment is somewhere between 3 and 5%. On the low side, your down payment is $3,000. On the high side, your down payment is $5,000. Let's head over to closing costs. Closing costs are charged by the lender. Most often, closing costs cover charges like escrow, impounds, and loan costs, to name a few. Unlike down payment, however, where funds must come from you or a gift source, in some scenarios, the seller can help to pay for those closing costs. Now, I'm not going to guarantee the seller will help you with your closing costs, but I can tell you it's possible. As a general rule of thumb, closing costs range somewhere between 2 and 3% of the purchase price. Meaning, if you're a family in a strong financial position, that number is probably towards the lower end of the range, 2%. However, if you're a family who's not in such great financial standing, that number tends to be on the higher side of the spectrum, 3%. Let's say you're buying a house for $100,000. Knowing your closing costs are somewhere between 2 and 3%, you should expect to pay between $2,000 and $3,000. Let's head over to deposit. Generally speaking, your deposit is around 1%, and this can be applied to closing costs or down payment. This money does not go poof. It gets applied to either your down payment or closing costs. So if you're buying a house for $100,000 with a 1% deposit, that's $1,000. Where you want to be more aggressive, I've had families offer more than the 1%. The next largest upfront cost is the appraisal. The appraisal is charged by the lender and usually runs somewhere between $700 and $900. The appraisal answers 2 very important questions. They are value and health and safety. Next up's the home inspection. The home inspection is charged by the home inspector. This usually runs somewhere between $300 and $500. Unlike the appraisal, however, where the appraisal is mandatory, the home inspection isn't. Now, unless you're an investor who's very well experienced in this arena, that probably isn't for you. The home inspection provides invaluable insight and is worth every penny. I would definitely recommend a home inspection unless you fall into one of those categories. To summarize, the money you need in order to buy a house can be broken down into 5 categories. They are down payment, closing costs, deposit, appraisal, and inspection. Depending on your loan product, if you have the cash required to cover both your down payment and closing costs, I say you are well on your way and you're ready to have a conversation. Like always, if you're ready to talk real estate or even just have a question, I'm always available. If you have a suggestion on what you'd like me to talk about, drop them below. Let me know. Share your thoughts. Take care. Hey you, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe.